It sells under harmless-sounding names like Theraflu and Bud Ice, but the white powder inside these 1-inch packets is deadly, linked to killing at least 22 people in western Pennsylvania in the past week.
I just finished doing, the heroin, and I walked into the bathroom and I just woke up on the ground.
Andrew overdosed on Theraflu twice and almost died, but it took his friend dying to scare him back into rehab at the Greenbrier Treatment Center near Pittsburgh.
You know what you can do, you know what I mean? Like 7 or 8, 9 bags. With those Theraflu ones, when I first overdosed, I only did like 2 or 3. It really made me feel like, I'm not invincible anymore.
But this 19-year-old says the first reaction from heroin addicts, rush to find the good stuff.
That's the sick thing about addiction, when somebody knows that there's, heroin bags out there that are killing people or making them overdose. They're like, well, we know those are the good bags.
These bags are recovered heroin evidence.
Pieces of data.
But analysis by Allegheny County Medical Examiner Dr. Carl Williams shows half of the white powder is actually fentanyl, a narcotic he says is 10 to 100 times stronger than morphine. Overdose deaths in Allegheny County, 15 in a week, ages 22 to 53.
Now that they're mixing a much more potent fentanyl in with the heroin, it pretty clearly explains why we're seeing this massive upsurge now in that community.
Because the dose that they're probably used to using is maximized because of the fentanyl.
Yes, chemically it's much more potent.
Greenbrier Treatment Center, may I help you?
Addiction centers in the region have received hundreds of calls from addicts and their families.
You have to sit down and you have to ask yourself, am I done?
Some asking to be admitted for treatment, others scared about the potency of the new drug.
We treat a lot of nurses, we treat a lot of pharmacists, but we also treat teachers and mill workers, steel workers. We treat people from every walk of life here.
The Homestead Police Department executed a search warrant and recovered about 1,500 bags stamped Bud Ice.
The illegal substances were found in knapsacks on top of a pool table.
Authorities believe that's only the tip of the iceberg. A statewide hunt is underway. The Attorney General promising to prosecute the maker of a drug that's teaching hard lessons and taking lives.
Rosa Flores joins me now, and I know there's been one arrest, but there have to be more arrests coming, right?
You're absolutely right, Carol. And the AG's office has sent a very clear message saying that anyone who is either selling, distributing, making this stuff is definitely going to be prosecuted. And there is a criminal statute for drug delivery resulting in death. And we already know, like you mentioned, there's at least 22 deaths in western Pennsylvania. So they're going to be looking and hunting for these guys as we speak.
It's just such a strange combination, what this heroin was tainted with, a cancer drug.
It really is odd, and I'd love to share a little more about Andrew with you, Carol, because if you think about this boy, he's 19 years old, but when he was 4 years old, his mom was using drugs. She was watching videos that taught people how to use drugs so they could feel better. By that time, his dad was already rinsing his beer and feeding that to him. By age 9, he was taking prescription pills. And then here was the worst part of all. By age 13, he's withdrawing, is what he was telling me. He was with his dad and with his friends, and one of his dad's friends said, "Hey boy, come over here, I'm gonna make you feel better." He shot him up with heroin. He says that he's been hooked on that ever since.